turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable. Teachers and classes back in session. Here for another guest speaker episode at AOA Studios. If you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, make sure to check us out at aoastudios.org and book your session or service today. And I'm joined today by two very special guests. To my right is Melks, who you have seen earlier in the year with Bleave. Melks, at this point, you know, you should just keep creating with artists because then you'll just keep getting invited on. So welcome back.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And then to Melks is right. We have, of course, Navi. You guys just dropped your brand new project in the last couple of months called Open Canvas, which I'm excited to talk about. But Navi, this is your first time on Turntable Teachers, so it's great to have you here, my man.
Thank you, man.
Of course.
It's a pleasure, man.
Welcome. How you both doing today?
I feel good, man.
Blessed.
Feel real good.
Feeling great.
How about you?
I'm great. I can't complain. It's beautiful weather finally. You know what I mean? It's nice and crisp. That fall weather starting to hit.
Oh yeah,
it's my favorite.
That cool down.
Exactly. Thanks for being here on week one of football too. I don't know if you guys are football fans, but I know you're probably itching to get back to watch the games. So we appreciate you guys being here. So I'll get right to it. Obviously, we're going to start with the objective. That's the segment of the podcast where we get to know a little bit about you guys and your background. We've done this with Melks already, so I might as well turn this to you, Navi.
Gotcha.
And I'm curious because obviously I know you're from the same area as Melks, being from like the Lawrence Haverhill area.
Shout out Lawton was good.
So I'm curious for you, your perspective on this. I feel like talked a little bit about this with Melks last time, and anything you want to chime in that maybe you feel like it needs to be reiterated or you haven't said before. What is it about Lawrence that makes it such a special community from like an arts standpoint? Because I feel like especially now you're seeing such a surgence of artists, producers, videographers, right? Like there's so much I think there right now. And we talked a lot about that with Bleave on Melks' last episode, especially, trying to, reach back into the youth. And I know that's something Andre's really talked about a lot. So from your perspective, Navi, like, again, what has the arts scene meant to you and sort of how do you feel about where it is currently in the its trajectory in terms of Lawrence?
The art scene to me, like for Lawrence, it's insurmountable to me because you're seeing so many people from different avenues still finding a way to create something that with broken pieces that they had to live with. You know what I'm saying? And bringing that together and being able to forge something in order to spark the fire in somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that can be with anything. It doesn't have to be towards music. It can be just with visuals. It can be with art, just with like painting, drawing, or even just spoken word too. You just any way to move somebody. And even now too, I feel in the scene of Lawrence right now, I feel it's more open. You know what I'm saying? I feel a lot more people are really coming out to really express how they really feel with no restrictions. Like everybody is coming in together. At least in my opinion, nobody's in anybody's lane. Everybody's doing their own thing. Like you're able to tell, okay, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, and there's no, at least from what I see, ain't no bickering. No one's coming out and say, everybody's trying to be one together, but still understanding their lane. You know what I mean? So to me, that's how I look at the art in my city. We just striving through. Nothing else to it.
Love it. And for you as an artist, like when did you sort of like figure out that hip hop or even just music in general was like something you wanted to pursue? Like, is there a moment that you remember early on in your life where you were like, oh, this is like totally it. Like I totally want to. Yeah. Okay. He's itching to say, go ahead.
There definitely is a time, man. I'll say this. I'm not musically inclined. I don't have nobody that taught me the way. I didn't have anybody I looked up to. I really felt it back in high school. I was a senior. This is towards like the winter time. And all of a sudden, me and the homies, we're playing beats. we playing beats in the lunchroom, just hearing it even after, and just going back and forth. And I'm hearing how they rap, just freestyling off the dome and all that. I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Like I hear, but then hearing people around you doing it, it's like, yo, hold up, and you know, as time went, within like a couple months of that year, going into the new year, 2017 from 2016. That's when I started dabbling. Okay, what do I need for the equipment? What do I need to get started? And just being able to just start with the writing, then eventually going into the production. You know, just understanding the whole language of this whole music thing, and even writing out, just looking at other lyrics from like even artists I look up to, and just being like, oh shoot, damn, how did he come up with this and saying this? And it just, you know what I mean? It gets your head twisted. So I was always intrigued in just understanding the concept of how someone creates something out of nothing, but able to put it down and just be like, yo, this is what it is. A whole blueprint that just came out of thin air. And I was so connected to that because, you know, what if somebody else is thinking the same thing as me, but they don't got the voice to say it, or at least that fire in them is not lit yet. And, you know, that's how I'm viewing it. Just want to go in and just be like, hey, yo, if I'm doing that, I know you could do it too. And I'm here just to inspire others, never to put others down. You know what I'm saying?
Love that. That's beautiful. Melks, what was it about Navi that really made you want to work with him, either from, you know, a musicality standpoint or his energy? Like, I'm even just getting a great energy from you right in these first few minutes, but curious from your perspective on, you know, what intrigued you most about Navi and wanting to work with him, especially long term.
I mean, definitely the energy. I mean, his work ethic was crazy. I'm someone that I'm very disciplined when it comes to getting stuff done. So when we first met, I had him on my series, the Bar Out series, and the way that he went in that same day when I played him the beat, he just got to work right there and then. And then I put up another beat, and he got right to work. Then the next beat. So it was something where automatically I'm like, okay, the chemistry is great, you know, and the way that he fit on my beats is something where I was inspired. I'm like, you know, I felt like I got a boost just from working with him, and almost it re-energized me. So, yeah.
That's really cool. And, you know, it's funny. So, because I feel like it was a similar situation with Bleave where like
too, yeah.
it was right off the Bar Out series is kind of initially where that whole thing started. So I guess I should say, if you want to work with Melks on a project and then find your way on Turntable Teachers, which usually seems like a good angle for some people, go on his Bar Out series. I feel like I want to touch a little bit about that too, because you've really pushed that in such a good direction even since we last spoke. So, you know, what do you think it is about the Bar Out series that you've created, you know, through Marble Ave and all that? Like, what do you think it is about that series in particular that, you know, allows artists to maybe step a little bit outside a comfort zone and really lean into like the actual energy that you're looking for? And then I would love to hear, Navi, your perspective on it too, from like the artist standpoint.
So honestly, it's the fact that it's funny because I just shot the next one, and it's really different from all the other ones. So
Okay. Okay.
Very different. But it's the fact that, you know, in the past we've talked about how being open-minded really helps you kind of push boundaries. So when I sit down with an artist and I'm talking about like what, you know, they'll be able to do on this platform, I'm always pushing them to be as unique and open-minded as they want to be. You know, there's no boundaries. Just do what you need to do. Be as comfortable as you want to be. I'm just providing the sound bed for you, you know. So I want to make sure that when I get to work with someone, I'm really highlighting who they are and their talent. I don't want to box them in. You know what I mean? So, and I feel like that's what's led to eventually me doing full projects with those artists, because they get to see how you know I'm able to take their sound and let them be who they want to be, you know. So
I love that.
Yeah. and the fact that they trust me and what I bring to the table as well. So, yeah.
And we talked about it off air before Navi came here, and it's like you said, it's good to branch out and sort of try some different things, but then eventually, right, you turns into different skill sets that you have. Like you talked about, like the videography piece, getting you in rooms where places that maybe your beats wouldn't have, and then you can then showcase the beats after that. Because like I said, like same for me, like I could have just probably stuck with just doing this podcast, but it's like, you know, Navi, you just walked in here and like you see everything we're trying to do here, and I'm not, you know, this is not a brag in any sense, but it's just like for us to be able to like just try to this new avenue of like, all right, how can we open up a studio and see how it works? And like you've been there, done that, so it's like I feel as though it's amazing to like be a little bit more open-minded. Maybe that's the theme of this episode, where you really want to give yourself an opportunity to get in, you know, different rooms in any which way you can, and that only works if you have some different skill sets, or you're willing to try some different skill sets and you know, step outside of that comfort zone.
Absolutely. And honestly, even with and it's funny because sometimes you think of a series and you think like it has to be done a certain way, and even when I'm shooting the videos for whoever I'm working with, I usually start out with, what's your idea? What do you have in mind? What do you think it should
Making
look
it
like?
a collaborative
You know what
effort.
I mean? So
Yeah.
it's never about like, okay, this is what you're doing based on what I think it should be. No, what do you think it should be? And then we go from there, you know? So that's why each and every single one is so different from the next. So that's why I'm so excited about the next one too. So
Sick. Awesome.
shout out Nimk.
Oh, Nimk. All right. We got the
Queen, shout out to her,
Got
man.
the exclusive that is Nimk coming up. Navi, from your perspective, what makes the Bar Out series for you like such a great landing spot? And then what about maybe the process of working with Melks through that made you want to work with him long term?
The thing about Bar Out, when I first heard and he told me about it, I'm like, oh, okay, we entering the dojo right now. Because when I hear that, automatically the line, sharpen your blade. So you got Bar Out. Not anybody's just gonna come up here. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to execute in the way that he's bringing to you. You know what I'm saying? Like a tag team. If I'm with him and we going, and I'm hearing the beat he got, okay, it's up to me to let my pen do the conversation too, along with that, the sonic sounds and the way how it's portrayed too. Because when I'm hearing beats too, I can't just write, okay, yeah, this, if I'm not feeling it, I can't do it. I got to be able to conversate with it, and like I'll even go back a couple of times, like, hold up, that don't sound right. You know what I'm saying? But that's what helps me sharpen the blade, but also execute even better within time frame, because the amount of times you're barring out, you know what I'm saying? And also that even made me want to work with him long term as well, just because he's not afraid to try shit. It's like, or you're not afraid to take risk. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, this doesn't do well. Okay, the next one. Okay, if not, then maybe the next one. Because I know damn well, like, everybody know who Melks is and what he brings to the table. Like, that's on everything. You know, and coming along with that as well, I have to keep boosting. I have no other choice because he's sharpening me as well. So when I'm hearing, oh, whoa, he's coming through with some shit, all right, it's time to sharpen up, you know? So it's just amazing that, but it's a blessing to have that, because not everybody has the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So when you get anybody listening, you got opportunities like that, execute. Really sharpen that blade, because you don't know where that could take you. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid. Take that risk and charge on.
No, I love that you've created a space for artists to be able to come down and try something maybe different, right, than maybe they normally have. And making it a collaborative effort of like, how do you see this going? How do you see it visually, you know, audibly, all that stuff. I think that's super important. And then like you said, Navi, like it actually creates that space to then collaborate later on down the line, which I think is a perfect transition to get to the main lesson, where we talk about what you guys got going on now, and specifically Open Canvas is a project you guys just released
Classic.
over the summer. Great body of work, by the way. Really, really enjoyed it. And, you know, I know you guys just talked about, you know, obviously in the Bar Out, but then past that, what did you feel about each other's sounds specifically? We talked about energy, I think, as well in that collaborative space, but let's talk a little bit about the music, right? Yeah. Like, what was it about, Navi, about Melks' actual production that really brought you in and wanting to work with him? And then how do you think it unfolded throughout the project itself?
Melks was able to draw out any emotion that I could feel within his beats. And what I mean by
That's
that,
huge.
yeah, and someone like me, I'm always about, don't be afraid. You need to just be exposed to it. Embrace that feeling. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, if you're not feeling it, okay, what is it that you're not feeling it? Express it. Even when you do feel it, oh, yo, this is hard, yo, express it the best way you can. And the fact that he was able to pinpoint that on me, that's when I knew all the way, like, okay, yeah, he's the guy. That's the homie right there. You know what I'm saying? Because when I started the music, I was always just trying to figure, okay, what sounds dope? And just hearing of the music, okay, I'm going to try this beat. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to make something like this. You know what I'm saying? Just to, like you said, branch out. And how he was able to do the same in different ways. Oh, yo, this sounds wicked crazy. But then this one sounds hella smooth. And training me to deliver what I have to the public, you know what I'm saying, within those sounds. So it's not only just sharpening our craft, but it's also sharpening us as an individual. You know what I'm saying? Just not even just with music, just with everyday life, honestly. You know what I'm saying? When I'm hearing those tracks, and I'm just like thinking, like, damn, we did that. And the fact that you could use that, I look at music as a guide, man. To me, when I'm hearing lyrics and I'm hearing music, or if I'm writing it, it's got to be a guide to me. I'm going through I'm living every day having to face things. I can't be listening to things that's not going to benefit me. You know what I'm saying?
And you got really deep and personal on a lot of these songs too, which I appreciated. And I think that,
man,
like, Melks really, like, again, his production helps with that, but credit to you as well for, like, feeling like vulnerable enough to go some of those places. And, you know, I really appreciated that a lot. And I guess it's perfect transition. Melks, like, what was it about, you know, working on this project specifically from a music standpoint with Navi and the way he raps, or that really enamored you and made this as successful as it was?
Yeah. I mean, just that, honestly, the fact that with the production, I was able to pull out those emotions from him, and he was able to, you know, without any fear, being able to expose himself like that. Because I'm big on, like, anytime I create, I base it on emotion. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I get to work with someone that's able to feed off of that, you know, that is such a huge thing, especially because, like you said, it's something where with music, you're going to have people that are going through so many different things in life, and there's always going to be either a lesson or something that's going to, you know, I don't know, big you up, make you feel good, you know, make you feel sad, you know. I don't know. I feel like we got to accomplish that with this project for sure, so.
What song do you think would be a good introduction for people that haven't heard the project yet? That you think would be like, if we were to play a clip of this, right? A clip of one of these songs right now that you think would be a good entry point to the project?
That's a tough one.
I know it's like picking your favorite child,
That's
so to
pretty
speak.
much
That's like picking your
Which we'll talk about in a minute, Melks.
Nah, but I'm not gonna lie to you, man. If I had to pick, I'm gonna have to pick Struggling, bro. Struggling is the one for me.
It sounded like that's probably maybe the angle he was gonna go.
Yeah. You know, because I don't even think I even told you, but do you ever listen to albums backwards?
You want to know who? No, but I think it was Kendrick's "Damn" that people were trying to do, or suggesting that if you listen to it backwards, it actually played it. It had a different experience to it. And I remember doing that, and it was, I think the last song was maybe either Duckworth or something like that.
Duckworth, yeah.
I want to say that was it, and it was very different, but it was, you know, I don't remember the whole story off the top of my head now as we're sitting here, but I know that, like, I remember listening to it backwards and being like, oh yeah, this is a totally different experience.
It's a different feel. Shout out to Kendrick too, man. Yeah. But Struggling is crazy because that was the last song we recorded.
Okay.
And and I was sitting there, I'm like, after recording, I'm listening to it. I'm like, I don't know why, but I just wrote it. I wasn't even paying attention to what I was saying. It just, when I heard that beat, it just went. And I'm playing it back, and I'm not kidding. I cried, bro. I cried listening to that because, you know, every day is a struggle. Every day is a struggle. It doesn't matter if you at the mountain or if you down in the valley. At some points, it's like you're gonna go through changes. You know what I'm saying? And I really believe that struggling track, it doesn't matter. You got to struggle to stay strong, but it's also a struggle in order to get out of that slump. You know, you're gonna have days where you're just like, yo, I'm not feeling it. But that's when you need it the most. Like, you're either gonna struggle to stay down or you're gonna struggle to keep moving. Either way, it's gonna hurt. But what type of hurt you gonna feel? You know what I'm saying? So anybody, I definitely introduce struggling because I feel as though I'm always about the realness, and I want to give that to people. And this, like, I want to be able to say, hey, it's okay to be you and feel what you feel. Don't ever feel like, oh, I'm if I feel like this, I'm this way. Nah, you're a human being at the end of the day. Everybody's struggling their own way. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for you to be doing the same. Keep pushing.
I just had this. It's funny you mentioned this because it just shot. It's probably out by now. It should be out on our YouTube or Giles's YouTube. But I just had
Shout out
this conversation.
to Giles,
just
man.
had this conversation with Giles. Yeah, he had me. He dropped He's dropping a 3-pack as where we're recording this now, but should be out again by, like I said, by the time this episode drops. But we had a similar conversation, and what I love about, because his music, his 3-pack he's dropping or is out, like I said, is very similar in that style of like really vulnerable, really like in a lot of ways doesn't sound like him. You know what I mean? It doesn't have that gritty griminess that is like his music's used to. It's very introspective and a little bit more somber and mellow. And what we talked about a lot, and I think is really important as, you know, 3 men sitting here too, of like, it's really incredible that more men are coming out and speaking about mental health and the struggling and those emotions. And like, because I love what you're saying about just feel them, like it's okay. Like, and I think as men, sometimes, at least maybe, I don't know, speak for everybody, but at least for myself, like, you know, the generation before me, it wasn't like that. You weren't supposed to talk about your emotions. You're supposed to just be a hardened, tough individual and
no emotion.
And I've never been that way since I was a child. And so like having to look up to that in a sense, quote unquote, was like, I don't resonate with that because it's just never been my experience. And so I like the fact that now, at least in this day and age, it's just a little bit more of a conscious thing now where it's a little bit more socially acceptable for men to talk about mental health, because I think that is, and the struggles, right? I think that's important. So I'm glad that you're preaching that same message, because especially as a black man too, like in America, like that's definitely, you have to. Yeah.
Because, you know, I got homies, man, that don't talk about their problems. And, you know, unless you gotta like break it down to them. Like, I had to like pick brains and just completely chisel out, you know what I'm saying? But not just judging, but to understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not them, so don't try to step in their shoes and try to step to them saying how they should move, but you're not even the right size for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you haven't been in their life before. You know what I'm saying? Like, it hurts my soul, and it hurts me when I see somebody just being closed out and just being quiet and dying with that, when you can just talk through it. And I get it, if there's some things you don't want to talk about it, okay, but just understand that whatever you're feeling now is not forever. You know what I'm saying? Life is a cycle, as I said earlier. You're going to have ups and downs. Don't get attached to it, because soon it's going to shift over too. You know what I'm saying? So take everything with a grain of salt, you know, absorb it, recognize it, but don't get attached to it. You know, work through it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, all that extra stuff that people told you, or unlearn that. You need to follow what's good for your soul and your heart. What makes you, when you're making an action, does it make you feel right? When you say something, does it make you feel right? Pay attention to those things in order to understand yourself, in order to attract everything else to come to you. You feel me?
That's really well said. I love that. Without further ado, I think this is a good time to to play a clip of Struggling so people can hear what you're talking about here in real time. So this is Struggling off of Navi and Melks' new project, Open Canvas. It's out now on all platforms, linked in the description below, but don't go anywhere. Of course, we have plenty left with these guys, but we're going to take a quick break and check that track out, and we'll be right back.
Navi. Woke up, start up the schedule that I'm set with. All major stress be on my mind before the day be setting. No phone checking, brush my teeth, I hit the shower, get the dressing, meditating, thanking God for blessings, living out here guessing. Figure what's the way out? Told me I got time, but tell me why's it run out? What did I do to die out? These hands of mine done dug out the strength I needed to ball out. These haters run the clock out, don't matter cause I'm on now. Pain and sorrows, hand in hand of love and joy. Time is never borrowed, make it worth it, all you can enjoy. Motions going hollow, nothing else could ever fill the void. Ain't no more tomorrows, just the presents, what we should enjoy. Go be the joy, be the reason you made it, be the reason you stuck. Told myself I'ma make it, so ain't no way I'll give up. There's money here, I'ma claim it. For this life I live up, for this life I live up, for this life I live up. As I'm moving on, I keep my head straight. Take my time to go and see out just what could be in my way. Tell my parents that I love them, yeah, the young boy made a way. I'm the child of the prophecy, go feel it where you stay. Know these bad times never last, know the real is here to stay. I'll be out here on my last, I done made it through the prey. Still I keep on struggling, there ain't no other way. Still I keep on struggling, there ain't no other way. Damn.
And that was Struggling off of Navi and Melks' brand new project, Open Canvas. It's out now on all platforms. As I mentioned, the way you guys rolled this project out was super, super cool, unique. I think more people should be doing it. I would love to talk about it. But of course, as Melks knows, there's always time for a pop quiz.
Oh man, the pop quiz.
The pop quiz word.
So, Navi, this is how pop quiz goes. This is going to be a little bit more catered to you. I do have like 1 or 2 questions for Melks from last time.
Word,
he knows
fire.
how this goes, though. This one's more catered to you, though, Navi. He's already been through it.
Okay.
So, for anyone that has not listened to our podcast in the past, fan of Navi, just being introduced to us for the first time, Pop Quiz is a segment where we ask our guests rapid fire questions. Most of the questions have to do with you specifically. So like you can't really fail. There's really no way you can fail unless you don't know yourself, which you seem like a pretty intuitive guy. So it feels like you know yourself pretty well. And then, yeah, some of the questions have to do with music. Some have absolutely nothing to do with music at all.
Okay.
Ready?
Got you.
I'm gonna shoot it to Melks first though, because we have to pick up a conversation that we kind of left off the Bleave episode. I asked Melks and Bleave because we had a brand new father and a soon to be father at the time. And the question I believe was, what would be one piece of advice that Bleave had for Melks when he was a new father? And so I'm curious, Melks, now you being a new father for the first time these past few months. What is one thing that piece of advice you have, and then one thing you've learned about yourself as being a new dad?
Patience. I'm already a patient guy, but I'll say that you absolutely need to have a lot of patience. Just it's a completely new experience, and it's something that you absolutely. I don't care how many books you read, how many people tell you exactly how it's going to be. No, it's going to be the complete opposite.
It's literally what Bleave said. In this seat, I'm not kidding. This is sounding verbatim.
I completely forgot what he said.
I think that's what he said, if I'm not mistaken. I might pull that clip and try to do it side by side.
Nah,
here,
man,
go
but it's absolutely true. It's like it's one of those things where you just need to just go with the flow and just be patient and understanding. So, yeah.
And how are things going? Good?
Great. Yeah. No, I mean, so healthy baby girl. So
Love that.
Yeah.
And then one thing you've learned about yourself. Well, that was one thing, yeah, for advice. One thing you learned about yourself as a father. What would that be too?
One thing that I learned about myself as a father. I mean, I was always looking forward to having kids. So I always knew how dedicated. I mean, I put 100,000% into anything I do. Mm-hmm. So I already knew that I was gonna be splitting myself even more to make sure that I was as present as I could be, and as I will be, just because it's so important that I'm thinking now how, you know, and everyone experiences different when growing up with their parents, but I try to be aware of the things that I'm doing and how 10, 15, 20 years from now, you know, she's going to look back on it and be like, oh, I remember this, or us doing this. So for just give you an example, I got a Polaroid camera, and when she was born, I started taking pictures, and my goal is every month on her birthday, I'm taking a picture together, and that's gonna be our tradition. So that when she gets older, she's able to look back like, wow, we did this, you know? So
That's incredible. I love that. And then she'll see like how present you were in each of those moments too. You know what I mean? Like that's super important as a kid. Like, yeah, I love that. It's awesome. Well, congratulations
Thank you
to you and your family. That's incredible. Navi. So I've read you were quite the athlete, huh? In high school. So I've read specifically. I was reading something about one time winning this track meet.
Oh yeah.
Tell me, and I know you were a
gem.
and you were a four sport. Well, I know you played football. Mm-hmm. You wrestled. Mm-hmm. You ran track for a while, and then you played lacrosse a little bit for a while too, right?
Yeah.
So
I tried lacrosse.
You tried your hand at it.
Yeah.
So give me a highlight memory from each of those sports, if you can. If there was like a moment that each of those sports brings, just without thinking too hard about it.
No, for sure. Track. When I first started track, that was the year I went to nationals. That was the biggest part in my athlete career ever, and that was over. And I only started track, believe it or not, I only did it for 2 years. I started junior year, and I needed something for football, obviously, because football was my main. I've done football since the womb, type deal. But definitely track. Went to nationals my first year, North Carolina. It was fire. I went with a group of people. I was running the 100 meter, 200 meter. Football, the best for me was my senior year, was just going to war with the homies, even losing too. We came out with a record 9-2, you know. But what it taught me the most to really understand your lane and what you do in your position, but make sure the team as a whole functions. You know what I'm saying? Don't step out to try to do something that, you know, that's not in your lane, like I said, or that's not something that calls for you. You know, that's not the protocol you should be following. But definitely that 9-2, it definitely best record obviously that I've ever had in my football career. Wrestling too. Wrestling, the best for me was just being able to go on that mat just one-on-one. I didn't care about winning or losing. All I care about is if I even progressed. Even with the losses, what was it that made me lose? And at the end of the day, you couldn't blame nobody but yourself. So it taught me that you can't always put the finger at someone. Sometimes it's on you, and you need to be able to stand on it while everybody's watching, or even if nobody's watching. Stand on it, you know? So it definitely taught me to understand, like, when you're making actions, you know, be a man about it too. Like, if you fail, you fail. Stand on it. But don't crumble from it. Work with it and just be able to build off it. Even with winning too. Okay, what caused me to win? Because I know that's not going to be forever every time. Because everything's going to get crazier. Everything, you know, as your life progresses, you're going to meet other obstacles and different opponents that you're going to have to completely configure your strategy, you know? So that was for wrestling. Lacrosse, I'm going to be real. I just did it just to stay in shape. But I think the best part, for real, was just being able to hit people with the sticks if they got the ball. Because I used to play, so they call it attack, like attackman, obviously defensive, and midi. So midi's obviously the middle field. But they called it LSM, so they called it long stick midi. So I had like a long stick pull, you know. But obviously when we're on defense, just to be able to have that extra, because defensive, they have longer pulls than the regular. They're like 10. I could be dragging it. But it's like 10 feet long, bro. Like you have this stick, you gotta run OD. So if you two ahead of me, I'm coming through.
And you're a big dude as it is. You got a long reach. So
Thank you, man. I'm coming through and I'm slashing that. I'm seeing that ball go somewhere. I just knew that my job was done and I'm out. That's it. That's all I knew. But yeah, those are the best parts for sports and for me, man.
what's your infatuation with Funko Pops?
Yo, let me tell you, man. Them Funko Pops, man. Yo, they had my pocket, man. They had my pocket. I ain't gonna hold you, man. I used to be a fiend for those, man, because I used to collect them, but I didn't collect any regular ones. I didn't like at a store. You had to go to like certain conventions. You had to either on a certain release, like yo, this is the only certain amount you could get. Bro, I'm not kidding. I used to be on top of that, like sports news. Yo, hold up, which one's coming out? Yo, let me get that. And I even try to flip them, like okay, I'm gonna get a couple bucks off that because people like that. Cool, just. Whatever I have my hands on, just what could you do with it?
That was Pop Quiz with Navi and Melks. Thanks Ben, for playing around. Playing along. So I really want to talk about the album rollout because like that was super, I think, unique. You guys did what, 4 or 5 different listening parties?
We did 4
different listening parties in the same week, in different locations.
That shit was work.
So yeah, first of all,
whole tour basically. That's
right?
Like
Yeah, you basically did like a mini tour, but with listening parties. So, talk to me a little bit about the reasoning why you guys did that, and how successful it really was, and whether or not you would recommend other people to do the same. Because I thought that was a really unique perspective and take on the sort of traditional album release party or listening event, or et cetera. So, and then maybe reasoning why you even chose to do it in the way you did.
I would say that, yes, if you want to do it the same way that we did, that's cool. I would aim to always try to be unique, only because, you have so many people that make music, right? Now, it comes down to how you're presenting the music to really make it stand out. Just because music I feel a lot of great music gets lost in the shuffle. So you got to think of different ways to really make it stand out other than the music just being great. So, I had a lot of fun planning the whole thing. But it was stressful at the same time because it's like, how can we do it? And even still, as unique as we try to make it, obviously people have done listening parties before. There's always, room for improvement. So even as we're doing it, I'm like, oh man, should have done this or should have done that. So, like the biggest lesson for me was for the next one, okay, we did it this way. Now I know we're going to have to pivot all the way and really, aim to try to find another angle that's going to really make it stand out. So, yeah.
Cool. Anything to add, Navi?
Yeah. To add on to Melks' input, that release, I never did anything like that. And the way how seeing other people just like, oh shit, like they about to hear this shit. Something we took so much time and they're about to hear it in less than like 30 minutes and just being able to see, oh shoot, like, cause that, I'm my own worst critic. So I always come in there like, yo, listen, man, they might not like it, but it's okay. Make sure you do what you do, but maybe they will, but be open to it. Accept it. And matter of fact, embrace why they didn't and why they did, you know what I'm saying? Because it only benefits you in all spectrums, man. You can never lose from that. With that listening party as well, the fact that, the studios were able to be open to it. You know what I'm saying?
Very accommodating, for sure.
Yeah, like, allowing us in the space. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to say, hey, yo, this is really cool. And just grabbing input. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to them for that. And just having everybody, too, taking the drive, too. There's people that came, plus an hour to just listen to it. Something that wasn't, that didn't accumulate for you to drive for, but you were able to say, hey, yo, this is something new, so it definitely opened my eyes. Like, hey, when you're doing something, something will spark. You don't know what, but whatever it is, it's coming to you. Embrace it. You know, it's really not much else to it. Yes, the whole stressful part. I mean, stress comes with it, but even still, it's not something you can't control. It's just something you're able to work with, or something that, my fault, I worded that wrong. It's not something that should like steer you or deteriorate you. It's definitely something you can work with or just walk with in a way like, okay, this is how I went out. Okay, now we got a blueprint. This is the foundation. What can we do off that? Because we tried this, but this didn't work out. Okay, well, when we did this, what if we flip it to this? You know, it's what we talk about with the branching out in this avenues. It pokes your brain like, okay, you did this. Now we got this next. Now, how are you going to be able to differentiate yourselves from others? You know what I'm saying? Because like Melk said already, everybody does listening parties. Everybody's dropping music. But why should people listen to you? You know what I'm saying? So that's always something that just after those listening parties, that always stuck with me. Like now it's like, why are you doing this and what is it for? Every day I'm always asking myself, why do you still do this? Just to remind yourself and making sure that you're still on your path and why you do it. You're not getting misarrayed, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it was really cool to see that you guys did them in different locations and throughout the state. Like, I feel like that allowed for people to potentially go have more opportunities to go listen to the album and go to a different event, but also was like made it a different experience for you guys each time, I'm sure, in a lot of ways too. Like, and then at Melks off air, you were telling me a little bit about this. Like you guys had actual canvas that you had at each location. So
I should have brought one for you, man.
No, that would have been sick. But anyway, no, it's okay. Tell me a little bit about that and like what obviously the album being called Open Canvas, but sort of like how you were able to integrate that into the actual experience of these listening parties.
Well, I feel like just highlighting, I wanted something that we could use to highlight what the project meant to us and what it could mean to people as far as like in a visual sense, you know? So, I mean, even with the cover, just having the blank canvas, you know? I feel like this project, especially with Navi and the way that we handle the listening parties going into some of these places I'd never been to, you know, it being an introduction to a lot of different people. And even for me, some of the people that I never met before, I wanted for them to really come to their own conclusions, I guess, to, you know, who we are as people and what they think of the project and how because everyone sees art in their own different ways.
They interpret it differently.
Absolutely. Exactly. They're going to interpret it different. So I wanted to highlight that in that way with the canvases, you know, so.
Super cool. I like that. And, you know, I think what it speaks to for you guys, I think it's an elevated take on just a new way to utilize a marketing tactic, which is, again, the album release party, right? Like that treats it more of a in-person guerrilla marketing, so to speak, versus like, I know nowadays the social media aspect of it, which I know is important, but I feel like people are so hell-bent and get too focused on the social media aspect of the marketing, when in reality, what we all remember most is those moments that we had when we were actually in person seeing something versus listening to something. Like, I know we were just talking off air a little bit about, I don't know if it's in the camera here, but if it's slightly off, but like Brockhampton. And, you know, I think what made me more of a fan of them was actually seeing them live, right? I feel like when I've seen artists live, or when I've first found an artist maybe at a festival and saw them live, I feel like I become more of a fan of them quicker in that experience than I do just seeing one of their songs pop up on my social media feed. You know, as I feel like there's
everyone does that
100%. And not to say that that's a bad thing. Like, I think of course you need to practice good, you know, methods on social media marketing. Like that totally, we just live in that day and age. It's just, you can't escape it. But what are some ways to get actually people outside to connect with not only you guys but each other, and like how do you create that experience to make it worthwhile when they go to listen to the album again? They're not thinking about a piece of content you made, but that listening party that I went to at Exit Galleries or Nowhere Studios or wherever, like that's really what they'll go back to, instead of just, oh, I remember like seeing that piece of content where Navi was just like rapping in front of the camera. You know what I mean? Like there's a it's a different type thing. So I appreciated it from that standpoint, that you guys were able to do something like that and provide something for people that are your friends, families, fans, whoever it might be. So
no, that definitely, I wanted to add to that too.
Please do.
The fact that what you said, just having the real connection. I have a friend that told me, listen, real relationships build real results. You know, and that really hits home because, you know, being able to talk to people after the album, after listening, I'm hearing like, yo, how it resonates with you or what you didn't like, but it did something to you, and that means the world to me, because you were able to take time out of your own day, out of everything you got scheduled, what you got to do on a daily, what you be always stressing about. You took time away to get out of that zone for a minute and lock in with this and be like, hey, like your attention's on me now. Like that means a lot. You know what I'm saying? So me not being able to connect with that person, I feel like it's a disrespect, because you just took time and you're not even acknowledging the person that just did that for you. Why are you even doing this then? You feel me? So definitely, you know, just, like I said, those listening parties, they set the tone forever, because just being able to have that one-on-one, you know, like, hey, listen, I'm not better than you. I'm not, you know, I want to meet you where you are. And this is what we're talking about right here. And I want you to know, boom, you're the greatest. Like, make the person feel important. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it's all about. You know, there's nothing else to it. It's, you know, like gimmick, no, like, oh, like a certain strategy we gotta follow. No, this is real. This is raw. Like,
Real
you know, like,
yeah.
you can't beat that. You can't beat that, bro.
That's why it was so important for every listening party, where we kept reiterating how grateful we were to everyone that showed up and that would listen to the music, because like he said, the fact that people would go out of their own way, take the time to listen to something that we spent so much time, whatever, creating, that says a lot, you know? So that's something that we absolutely are grateful for. So,
For real.
because that means a lot, you know? People don't have to, you know, they have so much going on in their lives, but yeah.
Yeah, I just think it was a really unique strategy. I think it definitely emboldens, and I think maybe hopefully inspires other artists to get out of these traditional marketing tactics, right? And I know you're not even suggesting it was a marketing tactic, because it was something that was coming from a genuine place, and maybe it is. Yeah,
it is. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, please do. Go ahead. No, this is your time.
It definitely, it's okay to be portrayed that. People are gonna portray it however they want, whatever, you know, whatever can go in the boat. But at the end of the day, it's really down to the people that take the time, because it's for the people, you know. It's like the people are really gonna set the tone, because the artist, yeah, that's cool. You this and you got this overall, but really you're only up there because the people that supported you. So don't take that for granted, man, because you can lose that in the snap of a finger. You know, I seen it happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, even making sure it also keeps me in check. You know, when I'm hearing music and I'm listening to people, and I kind of be not what I'm following, it puts me in check. Like, yo, hold up. I remember now. Thank y'all for inspiring me again. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for always keeping this alive with me. Because, you know, it just sets a fire in your stomach, man. Like, nothing else to it.
Well, gentlemen, I'm I love the project. I love the fact that you guys have built a great connection over time, and, you know, Melks, you continue, like, I want to give you your flowers too, that you continue to do this time and time again. I think that speaks to your character and who you are as a person, and that there's so many artists out here that not even just want to, hey, I just want to work with Melks on a track just because he's a dope producer, but that there's artists in this community that really want to build genuine connections with you because of who you are and the platforms that you have, and it's just incredibly just for me, inspiring to see. And I know that about you anyway, but just I want to highlight that. And I was joking earlier, obviously, like, oh, just do a project with Melks, so you can come on here. But like, it's just cool that that you continue to, that is your, that genuine person that you are. It comes out, but that's always at the end of the day, of course, like it feels like your mission is to just continue to support artists like Navi, Bleave, whoever it is, through all the platforms that you have, and
whatever I can do. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool to see, and you're one of the hardest working people out here that I don't think gets as much shine as they should. So that's why it's good that we've had you on here twice, and twice in 1 year, man. That's not a lot of people can say that.
Shout out to Melks, man. He the god.
Shout out
man.
to Melks.
Put some respect on the homie name, man. Anybody that disrespects, for real.
And you too, Navi, bro. Like I wasn't super in tune with you as an artist before this project, and I feel it's just opened the gateways for me as you as a person, and for you to come on here and be just super candid. And we've never really spoken. We don't know each other that well either, and just for you to come on here and be so open and honest and vulnerable was like really cool to see. So I appreciate your energy as well. This was a beautiful episode. I really enjoyed having both of you here. Now, Melks knows this. He's already done it, so we'll let you go and do this, Navi. You only get one a year, okay? Yeah. You don't get more than that.
Shoot.
You don't get more than that. This is called the Dream Song Scenario, all right? This is a part of our open response segment of the show. And what the Dream Song Scenario is exactly what it sounds like. You get a song. It's a Navi song. You can have any artists or producers on that song, dead or alive. And I'll structure it for you. You get 1 to 2 producers. Okay. And you get up to 3 guest features. Who would be on Navi's Dream Song Scenario? Take as much time as you need. Oh, he looks ready.
Yo. Who I want? I want producer. Yo, rest in peace to New Javis, man.
That's an awesome choice.
Rest in peace to him. But I want one with him. And the features I want J. Cole and Dave East on it. That's my dream song. Like those two specifically. I mean, there's other artists I could pick too, but those two right now.
That would be.
I feel like that's
song.
that those two right there, man. I looked up to them so highly. I look up to them so highly. Like, I don't care what nobody says. They both represent me or how my lifestyle was. And I stand on it. Just they're making the blueprint and just following that is, it's able to help me. You know what I'm saying? Better than what I heard from other people reading books and just, you know what I'm saying? But shout out J. Cole and Dave East, man. That would be my dream song with him and produced by New Javis. Rest in peace to him, man.
Well, I think it would be a smash hit, and you got 3 very strong vocal cadences on that, right? Like your voices all are just super strong, especially you and Dave. I feel like that would be pretty cool to hear. So we're gonna manifest. We put that out in the universe.
Fact.
But gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. This has been an awesome episode. Thanks for coming down for the first time, Navi, and coming on the show. We really appreciate you guys having here and taking the time. And of course, now would be the only time to look into that camera to the left and let the people know where they can find you. Navi, go ahead. Who and anyone else you want to shout out?
Yeah, shout my mom and my pops, man.
Well, I like when people, when they shout out their parents. I like that.
Shout out to the cousins too, man. You know what it is.
She was at the listening party too.
Yo, shout out my mom. She came through. She came through.
Yeah.
Listen. Just a quick take before we
Please
go.
Please go.
It was crazy. Cause I think it's you who told me. He's like, or I don't know who it was, but someone came up to me. I'm rolling, right? I'm smoking, da 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 da. I'm like, yo, what's good? Yo, your mom's here. I'm like, what? Like, cause like, people know me. Like my mom not really with that shit. She's not with the smoking. Obviously, laid off it a little bit, like being more, you know what I mean, open to it. And just seeing her, like, in my zone, in my space, like, you came to my world. You feel me? You came to where I, like, that set a whole new fire in me. Yo, even my mom came out. And she's been known, like, she's been sitting there, like, she be there sometimes just watching me record and all that. But the fact you came out, and it meant a lot to me. It's like, holy shit, that's wild. Like, my mom came out. You know what I mean? Like, big support to that, like, shout out to the moms, man, and the pops, and the siblings, like I said. You know, like that just set the tone for me. But yeah, shout out to them, man. Shout out to the artists out in no, shout out to everybody in Mass. For real. Shout out to everybody in Mass, bro. Shout out to my Lawtown artists, man. Shout out to everybody, the MVC, even producers too. Everybody in the art scene or just in that creative space. You trying to do something bigger than yourself. Shout out to every single one of you. You know, don't forget about why you started it either. And don't quit on it. Cause you listen, you don't gotta figure, you know what? You don't need to have it figured out. You already got it figured out. Just keep pushing forward. That's it. You know? I think this was that.
That works for me. That was fantastic. Where can the people find you on socials and stuff like that? That was the only thing.
That was the only thing. My fault.
No, honestly, that was the least selfish thing you could have possibly done. Like, oh, I'm gonna take this time to plug myself. Nah, fuck that shit. I'm gonna shout out everybody else. But now, where the people can find you on socials and all that good stuff. We'll link it all in the description. But
yeah, you can find me on IG, Navi_the_real. Instagram, that's my tag. You can find me on Twitter as well, Navi_the_real. You can also find me on YouTube as well. And that's pretty much it, man. That's what I got for my tags.
Love that. Melks?
Just Google Melks, MELKS. I
He's
finally was able to get to the.
He's Googleable.
Google.
Oh yes,
Googleable.
Melks is Googleable, people.
So you'll
That's
find all
fire.
my links as soon as you do that. So
Cool.
yes.
Awesome. And if you're a fan of Navi and Melks and just being introduced to us for the first time, you can follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram and TikTok. Hit up our website, turntableteachers.com, for all the latest. And of course, if you're an artist, podcaster, or content creator of any kind, you can reach out to us at awaystudios.org to book your session or service today. Once again, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. This was a lovely
Appreciate
episode.
you always.
Appreciate both of you. Absolutely. Well, as always, I'm Mike, and that's Melks and Navi with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turn.